Hey guys, welcome back. We had a good day in the market. It's February 12th, Thursday. We're going to review today's price action on SPY, 0-day options, and small account. I've got going. What a day. What a day for the market. Big move down today. Webull saying high and low. 695 to 680, 15 points today. That's the high to low. That's crazy. Big move down. Let's take a look here. How to capitalize on such a day. IV is definitely increasing as the day went on, with volatility increasing with the dropping. Here is Eric's 30-minute chart. You can find his Discord in the link for it in the description. He's also SPY day trading on YouTube. So today, yeah, similar kind of to yesterday's, way bigger move. Gapped up and then just basically sellers. Once volume came into the market, there was just sellers. So gapped up today, kind of hit top of that green and then just sold off. Yeah, this selling is crazy. So yeah, some big seller out there, big institution, whatever, was not waiting for any sort of liquidity to be built. They had all they needed and just hit the sell button and let it just run down through all the bids. I mean, this is just crazy. So today, with this small of an account, it's a bit of a struggle on such high IV days because contracts are expensive, and I'm already basically trading one contract, so more or less the minimum. So to scale down is what I would normally do on a day like today, because the moves are huge and the risk is larger, because you basically have to have much wider stops, and premiums are going to get, you're going to get the theta decay is going to be bad also if it starts to stall out at all. So anyways, it's a little tricky for me on this small account to navigate a day like today, but let's see what we got going on here. So I started with this purple. Yep, adjusted it a little bit before it made this move down, but yeah, that's basically what I started with for the bullish controlled or bearish controlled buying, but it's a little steep, so I don't know if anyways, that's what I had. And then let's see what I have next. I kind of was trying to chart a little slower this morning. I feel if I try and just over chart, sometimes I just get it wrong, and then it's hard if you feel like you're stuck with kind of, oh, this is what it is, because you need to be a little flexible to move it if you see that it's later on, if it's confirming it's a little different degree angle. So this morning I was just trying to be a little bit slower and just take the more obvious charting. But yeah, I've got purple here. I did put white in here, gray pretty early on. Support here, see the supports and this resistance. Then it kind of wicked out of there, but this actually ended up being a big player today, this white one. I came down, so complete the inverse cup, and then so kind of looking for a handle, could be down here with basically purple. We also had, let's see, did I have a white that early? I don't know if I had that early. Had gold from my precision selling right here from these resistances. Let's just see where we started trading. That'll give me a better idea. 1004. Oh yes. 1004. Okay, so it came down. This retrace was very small. I considered getting puts here, but this was just too small of a structure. I was like, for it to break here. It was pretty obvious to me it was building liquidity with this purple, so could have taken on the break, but again, it was a little tight for this, because my profit target, it would have been here. Yeah, it was too small a structure, so I let it come down. I got red in there a little bit later, these resistances, and then these supports right here. Kind of a less aggressive selling, less aggressive than that gold. Let's see, so a nice bounce here. I don't think I had red quite yet. No, I didn't. So this was part of the way I was able to get red. Was this resistance here and here? Or no, I did. Yep. Okay, so I had red. I think I had it from these supports actually. I noticed it wasn't selling as aggressive in the gold, and so I was just looking for less aggressive tapering. not really tapering, just less aggressive selling, I'd say. I guess technically tapering, I don't know. But anyways, came up, and this kind of confirmed it a little bit, and this is also a retrace on purple. So breaking purple, coming up, retracing, find it, flipping it into resistance. It's still pretty tight, kind of tight range. And I think I maybe even had this one at that point. I maybe had the gold. I think I did, actually. Yeah, I think I did. Maybe from these resistances. Oh yeah, from up here. Right here. I can't remember when I had that gold. But I know I had the red there. Anyways, 1004 I was in a put. So that was based on breaking this purple, coming up, retesting the purple a bit more so though this red, and then this nice big wick. So it was at the beginning of this candle, like I was seeing here, I'm like, all right, I'll use this for my stop. Beginning of this candle, I got one. 1004 for 77 cents. This was a 691 put. So yeah, pretty far out of the money. The IV was a little high. It was 20 something, 25%. It was already a little high. Just from the last few days. You know, we're not in the teens anymore, like low teens. Definitely increased throughout the day, but yeah, it was still a little high. So that's why I'm a little further out of the money. And in the morning, you can kind of be, the delta is pretty high, even a few strikes out. So I was fine with 691. Got that one at 77 cents and sold it on that same candle. Oh, this candle. No, wait, what? Where are we? Here we are. Yeah, sold it on this candle. So this would be my first take profit because this purple is building liquidity. So it might not necessarily break through there. If it does, anyways, so sold it here. I'm like, all right, if it breaks through here, I'll probably just leave it because this is my take profit here. This is too tight of a range unless it breaks here. So sold it there. Very happy. Or actually right here. It was a nice fill. 77 cents, 93. So totally fine with one candle. That's fine. Grab this tiny little wedge in here. And then this candle, I don't think I traded that one. I did. Okay, so you remember yesterday, the other day, this exact same thing happened and it just flushed through that. So I actually did trade this candle. It was a 1 penny gainer. I put a break-even stop on it. Just in case that it did bounce on here, and I thought it might. But yeah, I got it here, and then it closed out. Let me see. Closed out here on this candle. So I was fine with that. I'm glad I did break even stop and didn't try and hold for here. That would have been giving away probably all those gains. Sure, I could have closed it here, but sometimes it'll bounce here a little bit and then it'll continue to flush, and I just want to give myself a little exposure in case that did happen. Potentially I could have gotten back in as it broke that, but again, those are not my favorite trades. So anyways, stopped out of me there, which I was pleased with. Yeah, I had gold at that point. This little mid line of gold. I don't know if I had this or not. I think I had it up here. Then I end up putting it here for this resistance. So that ended up lining up nicely. Still had purple, so we had this little wedge building right here. This isn't very nice structure though. Oh yeah, that's right. So right here. See how I put two lines in here? First one was on this wick. This thing comes down, closes below it. All right, here it is. Here's a nice little head with a shoulder. Like, I'll take that. It also rejected the top of that range. Or basically that resistance, that support turned into resistance. I think I opened here. Did. It was actually on the next candle. It was on this one, a little retrace. Opened it up, and then, whoom. Big old move, closed it up here somewhere. This was a fast. Very fast. So at that point, I'm like, I don't put this down there. Like, this purple right, is my line a little off? Maybe it's a little less, you know. I started looking at it closer. I'm like, maybe it's not quite as steep, which, you know, that's possible. Maybe it's just the area. Like, why is that happening? Maybe it wasn't quite as steep. I don't know. But anyways, it comes up here and I'm like, all right, it's still rejecting gold. So that's a nice resistance. But there also is a bottomless gold, so I could just trade this channel basically on its way down. The problem is there's not really good structure here. There's not really clear head forming. There's liquidity here for shoulder, but yeah. So all that said, and then I just had that nasty stop, which was 84 cents to 70 cents. Basically gave up Not all of it, but gave up quite a bit of the gains on that first trade. 1032 I got in. So again, I didn't really like this. I liked the risk to reward though. It was much better than here. Here to there wasn't good. Here to there was even worse. So the fact that it was spreading out and getting further away from this bottom trend line there. Well, let me turn that down just a little bit. All right, some of you guys hate the jazz, some of you guys love it. Regardless, we don't want it too loud. So I did like the risk reward. I didn't like the structure. I'm like, all right, I'll go on it. I've got gold here. So this is one of the days that happens maybe 20% of the time on SPY. Big, long continuation. These are not the days I'm trying to perfect this strategy to implement on. However, there's no reason I can't also do well on these days. However, at the same time, to do well on these days is very difficult with a small account and or without opening up multiple contracts. So this is why we have runners. This is why we take enough profit to be comfortable to hold. It would have been very easy in this day to hold a contract all the way through here. As you can see, it basically stuck in gold the entire way without any fuss. Yes, the contracts opened up here. I mean, from to here, they were like 600%. I'm assuming there were a couple thousand down there or more. I didn't keep looking at them. It's not good to look. I had a quick glance. I'm like, I shouldn't look at this. It's stupid. So, as you know, based on what I just said, I did not hold my puts there all the way down there, my one put. I opened here. Again, I did not like this structure, so not a nice head and shoulders for me. It was a break of this purple. It was rejecting there, so it was, you know, whatever. It's an ascending wedge, descending wedge, whatever it is. Yeah. So let's see. 32. Bought one here for 74 cents. Okay. 5 days right here also. There was a lot of bouncing on 5 day. It was like right in here. So I get in. My fill actually isn't great. My fill's like here, I think. Like, oh man, it's pretty far from that yellow. Nonetheless, comes down. You know, this wasn't too bad. Pretty nice, you know, not too bad of price action to this point right here. You know, this was a quick one. I like wanted to take profit there. I don't think I did. Let me see. No, it was the next candle. It was this candle. Retested 5 day and low of day. And it actually wasn't like that fast. This candle was nice, but then this candle, like the volume, as you can see, is still low, and it was just kind of slow. And for how far it was away from the top of my gold, I was like, this is 5 day. I'm taking profit. And I also, okay, so that was what I was thinking too. It's also so close to the support. So I'm like, I'll close it here. Yeah, maybe I could squeeze a little bit more down to get to the bottom of this, but this is 5 day. The structure was bad. You know, I've only got one, which is fine. I'll just leave it. I'll take it there. So I took it there. Great. Back up. Happy about that. And then, okay. So then it comes down here. I did not take this. Did not take this break. I wanted to take the retrace, which it never gave. I was a little distracted with the family at this point, which is fine. That's just part of it. I don't work in a cubicle with no distractions, which I guess that would be pretty distracting too. Anyways, I wasn't quite focused enough to enter this. My focus level wasn't quite there. It looks beautiful though. Increased volume on the break of this support, breaking into this or continuing down this steeper gold channel. However, this isn't a trade I like. Anyways, I'll take them. Like I try to. I was pretty confident with gold though, so I wanted the retrace on it. I'm like, all right, I'll take the retrace. I'm not gonna take this candle. And yeah, that would have been a nice one. Didn't grab that one. Oh. Yeah. I'm just trying to catch my next trade here. Okay. So then it comes down. I'm looking for purple again. This is what built liquidated before, although we do have a breakdown from that. So I don't have it here because it's clean. I know what happened now, but when I'm trading, I am looking for a potential bottom or somewhere it's going to start bouncing. So I'm putting it here. It breaks through. I'm like, nope, nope. I put it there and it like breaks it. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here? So then I duplicate my support because I'm like, maybe it's selling in that silly thing. Sure enough, It's selling in this just very less aggressive. It's a tapering. It's a bullish controlled selling. At least that's what I would call it, or what Eric would call it, what it looks like. Regardless, it's selling in that. And this seller is like, nope, we are not going to give a head. We are not going to retest any kind of levels. Send it. And it just keeps going. Just same way it did here, breaking through. Typically, you have, whatever. If you've been here at all, you know what's going on. This does happen, though, and it happened here. I got in. So this one I didn't mess around with because I missed it there, and I was like, man, the structure sucks, but I gotta take this. And at this point, this is 5 and 20 day. These were both, well, 5 day was up here, 20 I think was about here, so it was close. It was a very tight 20 day. I was like, all right, I'll just take it to 20 day, just another little scalp or whatever. It was a little sketchy too because gold was so far away, but I think I got it on this candle actually. Yeah, I got it on that candle, 89 cents. Ivy was starting to increase at this point, especially with all this volume that started to come in with this dropping. 89 cents, 1054. Yeah, what strike? 688. So 688. I'm at 689. Yeah, pretty close to money. Not like crazy at that point. Yeah, so got it on this one. It does a nice flush. So this line right here is yesterday's low. So that completes the... There's just all sorts of supports down here too, which is what made me skeptical also. So we have yesterday's low right here. We're coming down there. That's what that blue line is. We also had 5 day right there. At that time. This is very confusing on the 30-minute now. Oh well. So I'm like, I don't need to hold this. About the chase move. I'm not gonna try and use gold as my stop. I only have one contract. Kind of expensive. We've got 5 day, or no, 5 days up here. That's right. So this is 20 day down here. That was always confusing. Yeah, 5 days up here. Yeah, right there. This was 20 day. This was also yesterday's low. So inverse cup completed. This seller, this very well could be a inverse shoulder. So head bouncing off of 20 day and ripping. I'm like, all right, another nice little trade. I will take my profits there. Thank you. 32 to 33, 1 minute, 74 cents to 91. So, oh wait, that's not that one. It's 54 to 55 right here. Yeah, so I closed it on yesterday's low. This was actually a little green. I didn't get a great slippage on that one. You can see this candle wicked. So it came here, kind of hung out, and like went a little bit green. I'm like, I'm out. This is 20 day. This is this. Thank you. Like, I'll just take that one candle. Yeah. So another little scalp. Again, I'm only trading the one contract here, mostly because of the lack of structure and how these are just kind of chase trades in my mind, my book. And the fact that the range is now starting to get pretty large. Ivy's starting to pick up. So, scaling in, I need a smaller range, tighter day to try and, lay on it a little bit. But yeah, this was another cool trade, of course, and I was happy about it. And again, 80% of the time, SPY is going to bounce here. It's going to bounce here and just going to do something up here for the rest of the day. It's not going to continue on like this. So not to say I was thinking that when I was trading. I'm just trying to trade exactly what I'm seeing and nothing else. So that was in my head. However, that's why my strategy is a bit adjusted like that. I'm not always just holding until it goes to 0 or it breaks this, then I'm red on it. Now, if I have more contracts, I have the freedom to do that. And potentially I would have, yeah. Potentially if I had 2 here, I would have said, okay, break of gold, green candle even, like anything. The green candle's way down here. However, this selling was actually, where was the selling? Just like kind of gross. Yeah, kind of all of this. This seller was just very methodical. It was kind of slow. Like in hindsight here, it looks very nice, but this was very slow selling. It was just slow. As you see, it's like wicking up here, it's kind of go green, then slowly sell. Volume was increasing, but it wasn't like, it was just, yeah, some institution was offloading, I think. So it just wasn't the nicest selling, honestly. So like you get the break of the candles, those have volume, those would have some velocity, like whenever it break here and here, and that's when I'd like want to take profit here. But then this selling was just, you just had you kind of on edge if you were watching it live. It was just slow to kind of go green and then it'd slow down. And then, yeah, I'm like, anyways, next trade, what did I do? 54 to 55. Did that one. Yep, right here to here. Or 20 day. And this thing just keeps flushing down. Down gold, just so easy to hold if you have just one. Yeah, I had to step away. It's like, this is a FOMO building day like none other. I gotta be careful. Broke the gold here, but just for just a moment. And I did put in this gray, thinking, all right, if it does it again. And I don't know if you could even call it that, but yeah, it did kind of start stalling out on that gray. This wasn't a whole lot though. But then flushed through it again, kept going, did it again here. This is the only time I would say, was this it? One of these spots that's very small was the only time it actually broke gray. Oh no, it was right here. So I think this was actually, shoot, this was for somewhere else. I need to get rid of that tail. Only right here, and it's not even that like clean. So I think I had this for somewhere else maybe, but whatever. So right here, it's selling the gold, but then it, zoom in for you mobile users. And then look at this guy. I mean, he's like, oh, big green, then flushes through. So it's flushing through the gray, in the gold, really still. And then this is the only time it actually retested. It's such a tiny little structure, though. It's like, actually retested there. Still aggressive selling. Big engulfing candle, the upside. Continue to sell in the gold. So I kind of keep putting these in here. I was putting purple in too to see. I don't think it was really ever using the purple algo to build liquidity anymore. I think it was just basically the dude would take a break and have a snack, and that's what this is. And then, oh, we gotta sell some more. And then he'd go to the bathroom for this move. People are trying to buy it. He's like, nope, nope, nope. Next trade was at 11:30 to 11:32. See, these you're gonna now see some stops, and stops are nasty because these, now the range is large, the IV is up. It's half point, 1 point candles, 1 point candles, and your stop's at least half a point. Tons of slippage. So 11:30, 11:32, where are we at? Okay, so is that it? Yeah, do that. Weird. Okay, this one. So this one broke the, all right, yeah, right here. That's right. Finally, I found the bottom with my puts. So built up the gray right there. Not even built up the gray, just there's no structure. Just started selling the gray and then broke through it, which is all we've been looking for, all it's been happening. I mean, yeah, there's a little head and shoulder here too. Came down, broke that, and I'm just getting it a little bit on the retrace, looking for gold. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try and hold one with gold this time. And got it on this retrace, and then boom, it shoots up past this. And just from there to there, 11:30, 11:30, it was 85 cents. I bought it, sold it for 67 cents. This was just crazy moves. 393, 684. Yeah, this is 1 point. Just this tiny bit is 1 point. So this range, I mean, it's huge. So yeah, that one stop took out a lot of profits. Sat on my hands that whole time. Definitely not okay to chase though and do that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. I suppose like with the right risk management, just with gold, but it's just not. It's hardly ever going to work. Like it would work today, but this is not what you want to practice for, basically. All right, let's see. Yep, 11:33 to 34, $1.04 at 11:33. So now that it broke gold, and this kind of less aggressive red, which I was thinking, yeah, right here, I got a call, and I stopped out right there. It would have worked. I was like, all right, I'm gonna hold this for green. It broke here. I actually got a bad fill because it was green, and I think I got it like right up here when it was green. I'm all the way down. I'm like, oh gosh. And then this candle was red under green. I'm like, you know what? This is stupid. I don't want to call this. So got out. But this thing probably went like 50% just from here to here, which I was fine to let that go. I'm like, it was a bit of a revenge trade probably from this move right here that I failed. So then I'm trying to catch the bounce, and this one wasn't as bad as the stop. I was a little tighter. It was 104 to 96. And then 12. So at this point, I think I was still, I might have been a little red at this point, actually. Let's see. I can't remember. Maybe it's still a little green. It's just like such a sketchy day. Like you could so easily just wipe out all your profits on one stop. Let's see. So grinded through all that mess. Finally realized it was selling again in the white. Where'd I go? Okay, yeah, so this one. I stepped away. Had food, went to other stuff. I was like, I'm just gonna leave it alone. Yeah, I was a little green, but of course, after this huge move, I was wishing I was up. You know, I wish my count tripled because it very well could have if I just held one of those contracts. So I'm like, I gotta step back. I'm just gonna overtrade this, and of course, it's gonna just screw people with crushing IV through here. So this white, I came back. I charted the white at some point. I hadn't charted yet, but I did have purple. So I came back, threw purple in here. And I started to like the risk reward. It didn't complete the cup. I had an alert for the cup complete up here. Rejected that. So the fact that it did that is pretty bearish still. It's not looking to reverse in my mind. It did a couple bounces on purple here, or at least one. And so once it broke it, I'm like, all right, looks like they used purple to build liquidity again. And so yeah, let's catch on the downside again. And at this point we were, so the one problem here though is that it did break this white. Let's see this white channel. It broke it to the upside. So that kind of made me a little more bullish until it didn't complete the cup. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't have this white one right here yet. But yeah, that was kind of in my head a little bit. I was like, eh. But not too much that I didn't take this trade. Let's see, what is this at? 1050. I was late to it, that's right. I looked at it on the phone, I'm like, oh, I think that's doing something. So I came back, put this in here. And it's nice to be late. Eric talks about that. Sometimes I'm late and it's good. Those down here, it's kind of hanging out. It's green. Let me just show you what I had in there. So I had gold with that resistance on that wick. It's here. It's here. And I get it. I think I get it. Yeah, 1250. 102 put at 683. So down here, not too far out of the money. Get it here, and it just goes whoa and rips. I'm like, no. But I'm also considering it could be retesting purple from it breaking there. So, and you know what? I maybe had, no, I didn't have white, or I wouldn't have entered right there. Yeah, I didn't have white yet. So it rips up, and now I'm seeing why it actually bounced there. It's probably because this white. Anyways, rips up, and I'm like, oh gosh. Is this, I mean, this to here? Yeah, that's over half a point right there. But I hold it. I'm like, all right, so maybe just retesting. Let me just have some patience here. So I did. I held through that one and closed this one at $12.55 for $1.20. So came down. I was stoked. Nice big red candle. Of course, I'm looking for more than low up day. I'm looking for a retest of this gold or this gold. Comes down, gives me a little green candle, and then I close the beginning of that one. Yeah, I got out of it. Partially because this gold, look. This was the gold, so I had it there. Maybe it's too aggressive, this gold selling. Maybe it was more mellow, and I just didn't chart it quite right, but it broke it here. I was trying to hold with gold. Hold it with gold, baby. USA. And it broke, and I closed it there. So being that candle, slippage was bad. Of course, I think it was up another 10 bucks or so down here. And it did come down and hit my profit target. But again, I'm not trying to hold this thing if it's coming out to retest. Well, definitely not this, but yeah. You get where my head's at on that one. So yeah, that one was nice. Even that little move was 20 bucks. So I was like, all right, this probably would have been 40 something, 50. But again, a day, yeah. And next trade. So at this point, I'm back up basically to where I was first green, somewhere back here after a couple good trades. And yeah, a lot of back and forth. I think the last one, 213. 213 I got a put. So came down, completed the inverse cup. You know, here with a handle, you could say that was one. Another one here. So really just looking for to build liquidity. I think I put this in at that point. Thumbs up. I don't know if I had this. I don't know if I had this in there yet. No, I didn't. So what did I have that got me to do that? Sure, maybe it was purple. Maybe, what was it? Yeah, it was purple. So I had purple here for building liquidity, even though I don't think it was. I think it was building it in this white, as you can see, is the resistance here, and then also this blue one here. So yeah, I got in on this candle. So it broke it, and this is kind of my retest. I think if we put gold there, it'll make more sense. Yep, so on the retest of gold, I got into the put there. Very close to my stop. And I think I stopped out the next candle, yeah. Still 10 bucks though, 48 to 38. Just a big range. Yeah, 48 to 38. Then I'm not up that much. Very small green day. I'm still thankful though. I'm like, you know, today could have been really bad. Just with how big this IV is and how high it is. And then 219. Gonna call. Yeah, I flipped it then. This one went green a little bit. This is the one I should have put a break-even stop on, like I did earlier on, just to protect the small profits I had. I guess I was like midway in my profit. Like I'd hit a higher. I was like midway down basically. If that makes sense. Like basically gave back about half, but it was still such a small day, and that's hard to have when the range today was huge and had great potential. So that's maybe what I was thinking when I was like, I don't want to do break even. I want, you know, whatever. Because there's like no profit to protect basically, which is fine. But yeah, break even there would have made sense. So anyways, inverse head. So I think I put blue in there at that point. Inverse head, grabbing this shoulder. Also building liquidity with this white, which is bullish controlled selling to me. So I liked it. Completed. So I was waiting for this cup up here, remember? But I'm like, well, this is kind of a cup here too. So completed that cup. I thought this is a nice handle on a bigger time frame as inverse head and shoulder. However, of course, this could still be a bear flag because we are still not completed any of the larger cups. But I did see this cup, saw that one, broke white, went a little bit green, and then the aggressive selling came. So 219 right there. I got on the retrace right here. And then I think it stopped, or I stopped out. Yeah, on this gnarly candle. So that was 62 to 50. So 12 bucks on that one. Just crushed the rest of the little profit I had. I was only up 12 bucks. You can see why I didn't do break even, I guess. And then I'm looking, I'm like, all right, I'll just chill. But I'm like, I wonder how my buying power is doing. So then I just test it and it says, no, I have no buying power. And I keep lowering my strike like further and further out of the money. And I have none. I'm like, oh, dang it. There's probably going to be a move. I ran out. So you can see multiple entries here for this downside move. We even got red selling back in play, which isn't as ideal as gold, but so it did complete this cup, but once it broke this one right here, that would have been a nice entry. Would I have taken it? I think so. I mean, I'm not saying I would have held it to here. I probably would have sold it on this break right there. If I missed this, which is possible I would have, I potentially would have put in this red then and seen us selling in that. And then I would have had this other, the white for the wick down here. We had that there. I'm like, all right, that wick. That's really the one I wanted to wait for, was that wick, just to be more secure. So I think I would have probably gotten in here if I missed this. And then here, yeah, it wouldn't have been as nice to hold just because it wasn't in gold, but I could have had a pretty clear stop with red. Where would I have closed it? Hard to know where I've closed it. Yeah. Maybe on that big candle. Yeah, hard to know. I might have been greedy more or less at the end of the day. I might have waited till it broke this and closed it on one of these. So, and then of course this last 10-minute move was quite nice. It wasn't, it was 15 minutes, so built a nice little head and shoulders using this as, so complete this inverse cup, little handle. This can all happen very fast when the volume's up, and especially end of day. So you've got this nice little breakdown. Oh, it did kind of come outside of gold there for a bit. This one depends on how this one went. If I would have tried to be aggressive and catch that one, I feel like I probably would have. Yeah, probably would have. This was even just this right here. It's 2 points, over 2 points. Quite the day. So it wasn't like over trading. I don't know. Felt good. I'm pretty happy with today, honestly. A month ago, I would not have been taking any of those breaks. $1. I don't think this includes commission, so I'm probably red on the day. I wouldn't have been taking these breaks. This break, I wouldn't have taken that. Wouldn't have taken this. I wouldn't have taken those. So little improvement every day. I'm hoping. Some days it doesn't seem like it, but Well, I'll say a little improvement every week, because that's maybe a little bit more noticeable. It's such slow progress. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for watching. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money 6 round. Peace out.